Now let's come to some coding. We will practice cascading to be able to go further in our course. I will now introduce you to 4 assignments. Please create a given assignment file and try to do it yourself. I would like you to see the effect of our actions in your project, not only in this video. These won't be complicated files in terms of structure, so you will create them very quickly. The assumption of the assignments is that we cannot change anything in the file structure. All we can do is to add new CSS rules. Ready? So let's get to the first assignment. I got it on my computer right now. You can see it on your screen. It's a simple file structure. It's only one HTML file. What we have in our body tag is just one p tag right here with some text in it. And in the style tag in the head of our HTML file, all I have is this one CSS rule with the p selector indicating that we want, in fact, all the p tags that would be on our website. But as we can see in our body tag, we only have one p tag. So we want this p tag to be color blue. And as we can see at our live preview, our p tag has the blue color. Now let's read what's about in the assignment 1. The text in the paragraph should be red. Do this in 2 ways. There are many different ways that we can do it right now, and you'll probably easily go with the one way of doing it, but I would like you to think a little bit more and figure out 2 different ways of doing it. One way of making this paragraph red should be really easy for you. With the second one, it might be a little bit difficult. But take up the challenge, create an HTML file in your Visual Studio Code, rewrite this code you can see on your monitor, and try to do this assignment by yourself. Now you can pause the video, and I will come back with the answer in a moment. I hope you managed to do this assignment by your own. And now I will provide my own answer to this assignment. But keep in mind that your solution might be completely different. But as long as it's according to the assumption of our assignment and you did this on 2 different ways, you're probably fine. But check out how I would do this assignment. The first way of changing the color of this paragraph would be creating a new rule with the same selector with the color red and saving our file. And we get the effect instantly. As you can see in our code, those CSS rules are identical. They only have different value. As we can see, we got the same selectors. So the importance of these rules is the same. So the decisive factor in this case is the order of our CSS rules. As we can see, both of these rules are precise. So the inheritance is not working in this case because we precisely say we want to style the p tag. In fact, all the p tags that are in our HTML file, but as we can see, we only got one. So it's set precisely to our one paragraph. So as I said, those rules are nearly identical. So the decisive factor is the order of these rules. This one rule comes after the first one, so it's going to be applied. Now, if we cut this one from here and paste it before the one with the color blue and save our file, the effect would be like this. Those CSS rules have the same importance, so every rule coming after the previous one is taken into account by the browser. Now that was the first way of doing this assignment. Let me show you the second one. We got, this was blue like this, and we want this paragraph to be red. Without using the same selector, I would do something like this Let's save our file. And we can see it also worked. Now we got a selector that is more important. We have a p tag, which is inside a body tag. With just a p selector, we got one bronze medal. As we know, we got bronze medal for every tag in the selector. And in the second one, we have a p tag and a body tag. So we have two bronze medals. So this selector is more important. So now those two rules are also precise, but the second one is more important. So in this case, the order doesn't matter. Let's cut the second one from here, paste it above like this. And if we save our file, our paragraph is still red because despite of the order, selector body P will be always more important than single P. So now our assignment is complete, but I wanted to show you some things off the record right now. Let's go back to our project. Let's undo these changes. Let's leave it how it was. And let's use something like this. P color red once again. Now we know our paragraph will be red according to the order, since those rules are the same important. But let's cut it from here. Let's paste it above like this. Now you can see our p tag is blue because the second rule comes after the first one, but we can use a cheat code. I set it to not do this in your project, but I want to show you how this actually works. All we need to do is to, after our value and before the semicolon, place exclamation point, and we can see the image shortcut already appears. So we can hit enter, or we can type it manually. And with the keyword important, no matter of the order, this value will become the most important, as you can see on your monitor right now. Now I want to show you something else. Let's delete it like this. I'll expand the column with the file structure, and I want to create a new file. Let's create it. Let's call it style CSS. And let's place our CSS rule in a separate file that we will import to our HTML file. For the p tag, and we want the color to be red. Let's save it. Now we have to import our style CSS file to our HTML file. So let's do it in our head tag. With the link tag, we have already the whole link tag with the rel attribute with the style sheet value. All we have to do is to place the href attribute, which would be the path to our CSS file. And since our CSS file is in the same catalog as our HTML file, all we need to do is to place the name of our CSS file. As we know, it's style CSS. We can already see the prompt from the image shortcut. So let's hit enter. Now we have imported our custom CSS styles in a separate file where we changed the color of the P element to be red. So let's save our file and see what's going to happen. As you can see, our paragraph is red, but it's not because the styles placed in the separate file are more important than the one in the style tag in the head of our HTML file, because the importance of these styles is the same. What actually matters here is the order once again. If we cut this link tag from here and place it before our style tag, like this. When we save our file, the color of our paragraph should be blue. Let's see it. Ta-da! That's how it actually works. What the browser do in this case, when reading the code of our HTML file, is that when it comes to the link tag, it goes to this file with the CSS styles and inject them right here. And after those styles are completed, the browser reads another styles, which are in this case in a style tag. The importance of these styles is the same, so since the blue color comes after the red one, it's taken into account. If we switch the order of the style tag and the link tag with our imported style file, the effect will be opposite, just because the rule with the red color comes after the one with the blue color. Now let's see something else. Let's delete it from here. Let's close this style CSS file, hide our column with the files. Let's save our file. We go back to the default state of our project, and I wanted to show you how the inline styles work. We can place styles directly in our tag right here. We have the p tag in our body. All we have to do is to go to this p tag and place the style attribute. And here we can place the color property with the red value. Let's save it. And we can see our paragraph is red. That's because inline styles are always the most important. They are always the most important when we are not using the cheat codes, as I said. So let's go to our rule in our style tag with the blue color, and let's hit the important keyword like this. And you can see the important keyword overrides everything else, no matter where the styles are placed. If it's in a separate CSS file, in our style tag in our HTML file, or placed inline directly in a tag, the keyword important always wins. But once again, when we place the same important keyword in our inline styles, since it's a cheat code and it's inside the most important styles, which are the inline styles, our paragraph will be read once again. So this is how it works. Inline styles are the most important, no matter how many gold, silver, or bronze medals do we have in our custom styles, in our style tag, or in our separate CSS file. Only thing that can beat the inline styles is the important keyword. But even in this case, if we have two important keywords, one in the style tag or in a separate file, and one in the inline styles, once again, the one in the inline styles is the most important. Now let's go to the second assignment. Let's see our project. As you can see, it's a simple project once again. It's the HTML file. When in our body tag, we have a div with the class of user. Inside that div, we have a p tag with the class of name and the name John Smith. And outside this div, we have another p tag with the address. In our style tag, we have a CSS rule for the element with the class of name, with the background color property, and the value of red. And the preview of this project you can see on the right side of the screen, which is exactly like this. Now let's read what we have to do in this assignment. The background color of a p element with the class of name should be gray. The background of only this p element. You cannot add anything to the existing row. You must use the asterisk symbol. That might be a little bit confusing and a little bit difficult, but try to focus, take up the challenge, and do this assignment by your own. I'll leave it for now. You can pause the video and I will come back with the answer in a moment. I hope you managed to do this assignment by your own, or at least took up the challenge. And now I'll show you how I would do this assignment. So let's go to our code. This assignment would be very easy if we would not have to use the asterisk, but since we have to use it, I would do something like this. The asterisk and the class name of name. And use the background color gray. Let's see if this works. And you can see it works perfectly fine. But what does selector mean? Take the element with the class of name, which is inside any element. As we know, the asterisk means any element, so we can use it exactly like this. As we may know, the asterisk has 0 importance when it comes to the metal classification, so the order matters in this case, because if we cut it from here and place it above our first rule, it won't work. Because in the metal classification, those selectors and these rules have the same importance. This one is 1 silver medal, and this one is 1 silver medal, because the asterisk has no metals in the metal classification. So we have to place it like this. And since we had to use the asterisk in our selector, we can do it exactly like this. The second way of doing this that comes to my mind is using the user class and then the asterisk. Let's check the effect. The effect would be the same. And of course, the order matters once again. Because if we place this rule before our default rule, it would not work. Because here we have 1 silver medal, and once again we have 1 silver medal right here, and the asterisk, which importance is none. This selector means take any element that is inside an element with the class of user. As we can see in our HTML code, we have a div with the class of user, and inside it we have our P with the class of name. If we would want to increase the importance of this selector, we could use second class. Now our selector means take any element with the class of name, which is inside any element with the class of user. Let's see if it works. And of course it works, because now we have 2 silver medals, which you can see right here and right here, against 1 silver medal right here. Actually, this asterisk could be in our 2 elements in the selector, would be the same, or it could be only in the user class, it would be the same, or even it's completely unnecessary if we just use the class selector like this. But in our assignment, we had to use the asterisk symbol, so we can use it like this. And it actually works, despite the order of these rules in this case, because now we have 2 silver medals against 1 silver medal. That's how I would do this assignment. So now let's go to our third assignment. What we got here is the simple HTML file once again, which is very similar to the previous one. In our body tag we have a div tag, and inside it we have a p tag with the text of John Smith, and outside this div we have another p tag with the address. The difference is now we don't have any class in any element in our body tag, and we have a blank style tag, so we don't have any default rules in this case. So all the CSS rules have to be made by our own in this assignment. Now let's read what we have to do in this assignment. Use inheritance so that both p elements would have font family of Arial, and the p element inside the div element additionally have a font size of 40 pixels. You can't use a precise selector, it must be inheritance. I think this assignment would not be a problem for you at this point. So now I'll leave you with it. Pause the video, take up the challenge, try to do this assignment by your own, and I'll be back in a minute with my way of doing it. I hope you managed to do it, and if not, see how I would do this assignment. So we have to use inheritance so that both p elements would have the font family of Arial. So I would do this like this. I would use the body selector and set its font family to Arial. As we can see, all our elements inherited this font, and now we want only the one p element, which is inside the div, to inherit a font size of 40 pixels. So we can just simply point the div, set its font size to 40 pixels, and our p tag, which is inside that div, should inherit it as well. Let's see, and voila. You can see it's so big on my monitor just because I zoomed it a little bit. So in this way, our assignment is complete. The font family of Arial is inherited by all the elements from the body tag, and the font size of 40 pixels for our p tag inside our div tag would be inherited from exactly this div. Quick, easy, and simple. And the last, fourth assignment for today. So let's see what's going on in this one. We have a simple HTML file once again. In our body tag, we have a div tag with the ID of header. And inside this div tag, we have 3 paragraphs. First, second, and third. In our style tag, we have 2 CSS rules. One is body div p with the color of blue, and the second one is the ID header with the color of red. Now let's read what's the assignment about. Which rule and why will be used for the p elements here? What color will these elements be? And why that happened? So take a look. You may rewrite this code in your own code editor, but don't look at the live server preview before you will answer this question. We have 2 CSS rules which may be applied to these 3 paragraphs, and answer for yourself what color these paragraphs will be. Pause the video now, think about it, and I'll be back in a moment with the answer. Now let's save our file to check the answer. Let's refresh the page. And the answer is blue. And let's see why. Of course, this rule is more important in the metal classification, but it's not precise. This rule indicates this div right here, and not precisely those p tags inside that div. But with the first rule, those p tags are indicated precisely, which we can see right here, even though this rule has only 3 bronze medals against 1 gold medal, but precision is always more important than inheritance. First thing we need to check when we want to know which rule is the most important is if this rule is precise or not. If it indicates precisely the elements we want to style, or if it indicates some ancestor element. of which our element will inherit the values of properties. So if this rule would be precise as well, for example, a p tag which is inside a div with the ID of header, then of course this rule would be more important, as you can see. But since it's not precise, it only refers to the div tag where our p tags are inside. The one with the blue color, which is precise, is more important. So that would be all for today's assignments. We are slowly approaching to the end of this section, so without any hesitation, let's move on.